Right now, in our web app, clicking on a campsite in the directory is no longer showing the information for that campsite. In the next exercise, you'll learn to use parameters in React Router to access that information. First, you'll set it up so that when you click on a campsite, your React code will automatically grab the ID of that campsite and add it to the path, as you can see up here in the address bar. So these URLs are not hard-coded, they're generated automatically based on the campsite data. Then the route component will use this ID part of the URL, which here is 3. Then it will send the campsite object with that ID to the campsite info component and render the information for that campsite. To let the route component know that this part after directory is going to be a dynamic route parameter, we will use this attribute, path equals, and then you see here there's a colon, then campsite ID. This colon here will cause the route component to grab whatever string occurs after directory in the path, then store that string inside a route parameter called campsite ID. That route parameter is a property of the route component state. Specifically, it's stored inside a state object called match as a property named params. We can look inside the React DevTools Components tool, and if I select this route component, then I can see that it has a state with a match object and a params property, which is also an object. And in that is the campsite ID with a value of 3. If I click on a different campsite, you can see how that changes. Then, this stored campsite ID can be used to pull up the campsite object with that ID, and that object is then passed into the campsite info component. Now that you have an idea of what you will be doing, go ahead to the next exercise to put it into practice.